Can you feel that unsettling chill in the air, a subtle yet persistent whisper that defies conventional wisdom, suggesting that individual brilliance, when untethered from collective synergy, can become a curse rather than a blessing? What if the dazzling spectacle of a player's scoring prowess, a highlight reel of impossible shots, actually masks a deeper, more insidious truth about team success or the lack thereof? The NBA is, by its very nature, a team sport, a symphony of coordinated effort and shared sacrifice. Yet, for years, a controversial hypothesis has swirled around one of the league's most prolific scorers, a theory so provocative it challenges the very foundation of how we evaluate talent: the Zach LaVine loser hypothesis. And as the early days of this season unfold, with the Chicago Bulls surprisingly finding their footing in his absence, and his new team, the Sacramento Kings, floundering despite his individual heroics, that uncomfortable theory is proving to be chillingly prescient. The discussion, a heated debate that has been simmering in the comment sections and across sports talk shows, centers on the stark contrast between Zach LaVine's undeniable individual talent and his team's consistent inability to win. It's a narrative that has gained significant traction, particularly after the Chicago Bulls' surprising surge at the end of last season. Remember that 15-5 stretch? It was a period of unexpected triumph, a testament to a team finding its identity and rhythm, culminating in a respectable finish that for many felt like a genuine turning point. The front office, in particular, seemed to perceive it as a validation of their core, a sign that they were on the right track. But what if that perception was fundamentally flawed? What if that late-season surge and the Bulls' current, albeit imperfect, 3x start isn't merely due to a softer schedule or some mystical defensive voodoo conjured by Billy Donovan to make opponents miss wide-open threes? What if the most significant variable, the undeniable catalyst for the shift, is the simple, profound fact that Zach LaVine is gone? The evidence, though still in its nascent stages this season, is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. The Bulls, a team that often felt stagnant and predictable with LaVine as their primary offensive engine, are now playing with a renewed energy, a collective spirit that seems to thrive on shared responsibility. Last season, in LaVine's absence, players like Coby White and Josh Giddey truly ramped up their usage, and their production, freed from the gravitational pull of a ball-dominant star, improved dramatically. More importantly, the team as a whole performed exceptionally well in clutch situations, demonstrating a newfound composure and collective decision-making that had often eluded them. This season, even with Coby White sidelined for a period, that clutch performance and overall production have remarkably sustained, with a rotating cast of 9 to 10 very good average players stepping up and contributing. It's a testament to the power of collective effort, a clear indication that sometimes subtraction can indeed lead to addition, especially when the departing piece, however talented, disrupts the delicate ecosystem of team play. Now let's turn our gaze to the other side of this perplexing equation: Zach LaVine himself and his new home with the Sacramento Kings. Individually, LaVine remains a statistical marvel, a scoring machine whose offensive gifts are undeniable. Through 4 games this season, he's posting a career-high 65.7% true shooting percentage, pouring in an astonishing 29 points per game. These are numbers that scream superstar, statistics that would make any general manager salivate. He can score from all 3 levels, a true offensive weapon capable of bending defenses to his will. Yet, despite these dazzling individual exploits, the Sacramento Kings are floundering, sitting at a dismal 1-3 record, and their offense, with LaVine at its helm, ranks a shocking 26th in the league. This isn't a new phenomenon for LaVine. His tenure with the Kings, even dating back to last season's post-All-Star break period, tells a similar story. After being traded to Sacramento, his true shooting percentage did tick up slightly from 63.4% to 64.2%, a testament to his individual efficiency. However, the team's record during that stretch was a disappointing 12-15. Their offense, despite LaVine's presence, ranked a modest 12th in the league. The Bulls, without him, were 14th, and their defense plummeted to a dismal 22nd. The Bulls, again, were 10th. This is the LaVine conundrum in its purest form. A player who can light up the scoreboard, but whose individual brilliance simply does not translate to consistent team success. He's often been labeled a ball stopper, a player whose offensive possessions tend to isolate him, slowing down ball movement and stifling the flow of the offense. And perhaps most damningly, he's been described as clutch kryptonite, a player whose individual heroics in late-game situations often fail to translate into winning plays for his team. This isn't just about statistics, it's about the intangible vibes that permeate a locker room and dictate on-court chemistry. Maybe, just maybe, there's something to the theory that vibes shot-making when it comes to building a truly successful NBA team. And then there's the defensive side of the ball, an area where LaVine's contributions have been, to put it mildly, abysmal. No matter how many times he might have dog-walked the local media into repeating that he was good on the ball, the reality for those who truly watch the game is starkly different. His defensive effort, his awareness, and his overall impact on that end of the floor have consistently been a significant liability. In a league where defense is increasingly paramount, where every possession matters, a player who is a consistent defensive sieve, regardless of his offensive prowess, becomes a massive impediment to team success. It forces teammates to overcompensate, disrupts defensive schemes, and ultimately puts immense pressure on the rest of a roster to pick up the slack. This isn't just about individual statistics. It's about the fundamental impact a player has on the collective defensive identity of a team, and for LaVine, that impact has consistently been negative. Of course, it's inherently unfair to place the entire blame for a team's success or failure squarely on the shoulders of one player. To be clear, both the Chicago Bulls and the Sacramento Kings have, for extended periods, been perennial losers, franchises that have struggled to find consistent success in the modern NBA. Sacramento, despite boasting a decent crop of talent, has often been the butt of jokes, a laughingstock in the league. The Bulls, even with their recent uptick, are still perceived by some as merely the 26th most hopeless team. These are organizations with deeper, systemic issues that extend far beyond any single player. However, the contrast in outcomes after the LaVine trade is too striking to ignore, too compelling to dismiss as mere coincidence. The critique of the Kings' decision-making in acquiring LaVine is particularly sharp. Looking back at the trade, it's not so much that the Bulls did great in the deal, but rather that the Kings did terribly. Especially given their existing point guard issues, they would have been much better served taking Trey Jones with Zach Collins and simply keeping Kevin Huerter for an overpaid final season. This is the ultimate conundrum that every team acquiring LaVine eventually learns. How is it that two role-player throw-ins could potentially contribute more to team success than a lights-out shooter like Zach LaVine? It speaks to the intricate, often counterintuitive nature of team chemistry, defensive solidity, and clutch performance. The Bulls, to their credit, recognized this dynamic and made it some other team's issue. The ultimate, and perhaps most damning, indictment of the Kings' decision: the decision-makers in Sacramento were fired after the trade, a clear and unequivocal signal of organizational regret, and a recognition that their gamble on LaVine had backfired spectacularly. The Zach LaVine loser hypothesis, while harsh in its phrasing, is proving to be a surprisingly accurate lens through which to view the early NBA season. It's a powerful reminder that individual statistics, however dazzling, do not always equate to winning basketball. The ability to elevate teammates, to contribute consistently on both ends of the floor, to foster a positive team dynamic, and to perform under pressure are all intangible qualities that often outweigh raw scoring talent. For the Chicago Bulls, LaVine's departure has seemingly unlocked a more cohesive, more resilient team. For the Sacramento Kings, his arrival, despite his individual brilliance, has coincided with a concerning regression. This isn't just about a player, it's about the complex alchemy of team building, the delicate balance between star power and complementary pieces, and the undeniable truth that in the NBA, vibes and collective effort can often trump even the most spectacular individual shot-making. The uncomfortable truth is that some players, despite their immense talent, simply don't make their teams better, and the league is slowly, painfully learning that lesson. What are your thoughts on the Zach LaVine loser hypothesis? Do you believe his individual brilliance is truly a detriment to team success, or is it merely a convenient scapegoat for deeper organizational issues? Share your insights and predictions in the comments below. And if you're as captivated by the complex dynamics of NBA team building as we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis.